Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our tribe was approached by a brand new challenger. We encountered our very first Arctic Ramfox pack, but we've taken care of them pretty well so far. We're down to our very last Arctic Ramfox, and with Palla's amazing strength, she should be able to scoot right over here and take it out in one swipe. It's pretty clear to me that as we focus on her family, we're going to need to make sure that her babies inherit her strength too. We don't want this to die off, because if we run into something a little bit more dangerous on the mountain, like the balance bear perhaps, we're going to be in some trouble if we don't have creatures who can really whittle away at its lifespan. So Phoenix, maybe it's finally time for you to go back to that nest that she found? We're just going to have to dig it out first. And I suppose Kestrel would probably come over here to congratulate the victors. So as she leaves her new baby in the care of Evergreen, we'll bring her over to the hot spring. That way she can stay nice and toasty warm, have a relaxing bath after all of her victories too, and still clear out the pathway for Palla to get back to her nest. I know that it was somewhere around here, because it was very close to the area where Prancer liked to play. But she's moved on since. She's actually discovered that there are plenty of roots up here by the other side of the mountain, kind of leading us back toward those glaciers again. So I'd imagine that she probably wants to take her brand new little brother down there too, since he does have the digging paw just like his father. And I asked you guys for some ideas as far as what we should name him, and a lot of you suggested the name Jangle. That goes right alongside his father's name, of course, and since these two do look so similar, Jangle is basically just like a darker version of his father. I think it's a very fitting name for him. The only problem with the Jangle is that he does have his father's weakness too. He only has the medium body and the medium tail, so he has a little bit of cold resistance on him, but not quite enough to keep that cold, chilly air from affecting him. To be honest, I don't think that Prancer has even realized that much. She's sturdy enough to survive anywhere on her own. So she probably figures that she and her brother can find plenty of food for the tribe, and she's very excited to get started on this mission. But of course, Dancer would probably be a bit more perceptive to that. She knows how it feels after all. So she's probably a bit worried that Prancer's going to end up losing her little brother. For now, I guess we'll have them stick close to the hot springs. We could bring Dancer straight over here, in fact, into the other hot spring, and have her start clearing out the snow around her family. We'll bring Jangle in between them, keeping him nice and toasty warm too. And then Prancer, you better clear out all the snow that you can find. Let's actually have her step her way up here. Maybe she'll be able to smell something different. Nope, just the flowers up here. I was hoping that maybe more roots had spawned. That could even be what had drawn the Arctic Ramfox pack near too. We did discover that they have some strange looking paws that look as though they could dig up the roots. Oh no, and Sunrise, is your little rogue visitor trying to steal your root too? He actually noticed that there's a wandering baby out here in the last episode. Nukiro is his name. We weren't able to click on him before, but it looks like he might actually have the melanism trait. Ooh, that's interesting. Thankfully he doesn't have the digging paws, so it's going to be pretty hard for him to steal this root, but there is still the possibility that he could do so. I'm not sure if we're going to invite him to the tribe though. Because he doesn't have any digging paws, he has no way to collect his food, so he wouldn't be able to restore his supplies. It might actually be more beneficial to just follow him, see where all of the other roots are in the mountain. But Kirta, you better hurry up and get over here, because we don't want you losing this route either. So let's have Kola and Van Ronu light the path for you. Maybe if Van Ronu scoots up here, he'll be able to move a little bit farther. But it doesn't look like he'll get to the route on this turn. We can only just set him up right next to Sunrise, so please tell me that you are not going to steal that route. I don't think Sunrise has it in him to actually attack this baby. He's a little bit less suspicious of strangers than his sister is, but aside from that, Nukiro is only a child. With any luck, maybe Sunrise just being here right on top of this root is stopping him from picking it up. So we'll see if we can keep him guarding that as we finish off the rest of our turns. We might as well bring Kola and Van Ronu a little bit closer too. And honestly, I feel like with every day that passes, Vanronu is falling even more for our little cardinal. They only have a few days remaining on their lifespans, but I'm hoping that pretty soon we might be able to start a family between these two as well. I know that Vanronu's lifespan could be lengthened since he has taken a little bit of that starving damage. But to be honest, I don't think he would go seek out the healers. He probably doesn't want to seem like too much of a burden, and he knows that other creatures have far more worries than he does. So he's just going to remain by his cardinal love's side and hopefully start a family with them before they both pass. Now as far as you, Kudukir, you're on your last day too, but at least you have gotten your heart's wish. Kudukir's heart is surely at ease tonight. In fact, I'm sure he would spend his very last day telling his daughter all of Kestrel's stories about the great destiny that she'll have ahead of her too, because she can take down those mighty bluebirds as well. It'll be even easier than ever before for Kestrel to take down the bluebirds when she has her daughter fighting by her side. So fingers crossed we'll see some new ones spawn pretty soon. We have plenty of new life on the islands, so I wouldn't be surprised if they come sniffing around. Now as far as the babies between our Earth Spirit and our Earth Mother, I definitely want to give them a combination of gems. We'll do the pink on the outside, and then the yellow on the inside. That way it can be a mix of both Kirta and Evergreen. Maple is a little child of the earth herself, and I like to imagine that as that story gets passed on through generations of these creatures, maybe they'll start to believe that there's some truth behind her being made out of these very mountains. We did consider that she looks like a little totem carved out of wood. So maybe Evergreen and Kirta, so desperately wanting to start a family, babies who could continue to serve their tribe long after they have passed, they turn to the trees of the mountains, these sturdy trunks that survive even amidst all the snow, and they carve their own perfect baby out of them. Now Maple can use her healing powers to heal the wounded too, and I wonder if maybe she feels herself being pulled in this direction. They'll want to go down here to reunite with Kirta anyways, and I'm sure that Evergreen can sense that too. The only problem is we do have to keep an eye on Marina. With Kudukir passing, she's going to be all alone soon. So let's have Evergreen go ahead and pack up her nests. We'll pick these up so she can build them somewhere else. And I guess Maple, you might as well purr so your mother can heal that last bit of damage too. No need to make her suffer any longer with you around. That reminds me, I also wanted to make sure that we place the digging trunk into her second slot. Now that we definitely have a way to keep our healers alive in the next generation, we don't have to worry so much about the purse now anymore. So let's just try to get those perfect digging babies in the tribe again, so Kirta will have plenty of little diggers to train. So you two better just stay put for now. We'll have Prancer go ahead and dig out a little bit more of the snow. I guess she'll probably keep trailing up the mountain, see if there's anything left there in that old base of theirs. And then as for you, Sunrise, I guess we'll just clear out the snow beside you. And why don't you actually pick up the snow over this rogue too? We might as well see him in full. Even if he's not going to be an official member of our tribe right now, the least we could do is uncover him from the snow. It's not as though he's very hard to spot with the melanism of his. He doesn't blend in very well with these snowdrifts. So it should be easy for you guys to track him down as he tries to show you where all of these delicious roots are. So I think we're ready to skip the turn now. Let's go ahead and zoom out, just to make sure that nothing else is going to spawn here. But a bluebird. Okay, I like to see that. If any danger is going to spawn, the bluebirds are definitely the best. I'm not sure if Kestrel is going to be able to reach it right now. It looks like it might be flying straight over the snowdrifts, so we might have to clear out a little bit of extra snow. But first, let's have Kirta go ahead and dig up this room. Oh no, and he was a little bit cold too. Maybe we'll have you warm up inside the hot springs then. You're probably missing your family more than ever now. Evergreen was the best at keeping you warm, and aside from that, he's probably quite worried that his family is still being attacked by the Arctic ground foxes. So they'll have to make their way over to show him that they're okay. Now I don't see any more roots out here. I was kind of hoping that maybe some had spawned over here in the meantime, but it looks like things are bare leading up to the Whale Island ports. Fingers crossed we'll find a plentiful source of roots over here too. It's not as though we did very much exploring on this side of the island, so that would be the best place to find more food. Now, we do have an issue with Marina. With the bluebird here, we don't want to leave her unattended, and if we're not careful, she's likely to try to take into the skies to go after the bluebird herself. Maybe that's what she would try to do? Take a nice running start right off of this bunny burrow that she was born on. But of course, Evergreen is going to pull her right back down to earth. You are not ready to go after any mighty bluebirds yet. It almost looks like the bluebird may have noticed that. Swirling back toward our baby now, but if you go across Kestrel's line of sight, that would actually be pretty good for us. So maybe Dancer, on your very last day, I don't think she would want to bother Prancer either. We'll have her clear out the snow right around her, that way it might be easier for Kestrel to land here. And have you found anything on the shores, little one? It looks like Nukiro is having fun playing on the beaches. He's still so young too. That has to be igniting a little spark of curiosity between Van Ronu and our cardinal. Let's set up their mutation menus. While we might not build a nest on this turn, I do want to make sure that they have the option open, because Cola's fertility is not exactly the greatest. So we probably want to try to keep the wings on them, and the heat body too if we can. I know that Van Ronu is going to pass it because it's in both of his slots, but Cola doesn't have it at all. So maybe we would want to fill her mutation menu with that? Or do we want to try to place one of the wings in there too? There is a possibility that she might not pass it, since one of her wings was destroyed. I think we're going to risk it though. It's probably more important that this baby has a heat body anyways, since that is starting to fade away in our tribe. So 2 slots full of the heat body, and then 2 slots full of the wings for you, Van Ronu. And we'll cross our fingers that we see another creature just like Phoenix to lead us through the mountain. So go ahead and breed with Cola? Well, there we go. That was a lot easier than I was expecting. With our low fertility, I was afraid that it would take a few tries, but I guess we can find you a good spot to set up after all. Ooh, and we have some worms to dig up down here. Oh, if only Silver were still around. We have plenty of patches for him to dig up, actually. I wonder if he's leaving that there as a sign, and if it's meant for anyone, it must be for sunrise. Maybe it's a good omen. Maybe it means that you will find plenty of food over here by the Whale Island ports. So let's start making your way over there too. We'll clear out the pathway for Kirta, as long as our little wanderer doesn't get in the way. He is pretty wiry. We might as well have you all shovel out the snow using those big Mechalosaurus horns of yours. Oh, it looks like you can't shovel the snow for us? Well, we could at least bring Evergreen down here, because I know there's some larger snow for you to pick up this way. But then, Maple, you're going to have to stay put. I guess the most we could do is have her just dance on over to this tile and then jump right back to the baby, because all of these creatures need to stick together to stay warm. Are you actually flying away from us? Oh, that's disappointing. We're going to have to bring Kestrel all the way over here? Well, let's have her flutter right next to you, Dancer, and we'll see if maybe the bluebird gets a bit closer. It must be nervous. Maybe it's heard about all of Kestrel's victories, and it knows better than to mess with her. That'll give you, Pala, plenty of time to find your nest again. We might as well have Phoenix nose around for it. We can bring him right up here. I feel like it was probably about in this tile. Go ahead and clear the snow away. Oh no, it's not there, but it's gotta be so close. Come on over here, Pala. Pick up the snow, maybe? Yes, there's your nest. Alright, so on the next turn, we'll have her settle down inside that nest and finally have her first baby. It has been a pretty long time coming. So Prancer, maybe you could actually help our leader. We do need that food, so if you could start shoveling out a good pathway for her to use, that would be excellent. I'm sure you would be very greatly rewarded too. It kind of makes me wonder how Jangle feels about all of this. Maybe he thinks that he's just as suited to this harsh lifestyle as Prancer, and he doesn't even realize his own limits. That would make Dancer's worries all the more valid if her children are so eager to prove themselves as valuable members of this tribe. They're only going to get themselves into trouble. Well, for now, let's have Prancer go ahead and clear out the snow too. And then Kestrel, you're going to have to find a warm place to land. It looks like the closest hot spring is over here, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to light that up for yourself. You might actually have to stay right here after all. We could bring Jangle down this way perhaps? Oh my gosh, it is so close. If you jump right here, yes, you can land one attack, and you're right between all of the kids too, so you should still be warm. Alright, so that's one attack on the bluebird so far. Oh my gosh, and how adorable is this? Nukiro is still sticking around our tribe. He is not ready to leave them yet. It would be nice if you could find us some roots though. That's kind of what we're hoping for, little guy. Find something good for Kirta to dig up, and maybe they'll offer you some of that food too. Now let's go ahead and skip the day again. Zooming out as always, since we don't have any babies to watch, and that'll help us see the dangers more clearly. Was that bubbling noise Dancer passing away? She was in the hot springs, so maybe that's all it was? Otherwise, there must be somebody around here playing in the hot springs too, but I don't see any other wanderers here. I did, however, see a brand new root spawn right next to Phoenix. Of course, that would be perfect for Kirta to collect, but we might have to leave that up to his daughter instead. This would end up being her very first root ever. We just have to set her up in the right location, and I think if you scoot over to this side, you should be able to reach it quite easily. Now we don't want to leave her fending for herself either. Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, and nobody ever picked up that meat? Wait a second, Marina. Thank goodness you're here, and with her 2 gems, she should feel a little bit more confident to scoop up this meat on her own. Poor Pala, she must be feeling so scatterbrained. She has one seriously one-track mind. I guess she has a little bit of baby fever too. So since we know that her nest is right down here, let's make sure that we set up their mutation menus so we can breed them on this turn. Now we want to keep that strength, so that means we're actually going to try to get rid of Phoenix's wings. I guess it's a little bit sad since they were such a big part of him, but there are other branches of the family that will keep the wings alive instead. So let's set you up with the Megalosaurus horns, and with the Bergina claw as well. The more strength that we can get on our creatures, the better. And then as for you, Pala, we might want to set you up with some higher fertility. I'm kind of torn about the heat body though. While I know it would be so helpful for digging out roots, I'm not sure if we want to risk getting rid of the strength that the big body would give us. I guess if only some of her babies had the heat body, that would be okay. So let's go ahead and risk it. We'll put that into her second slot, and then we'll have Phoenix breed with her. So she should be able to settle down in her nest. A few tries too many, I'm afraid. But a strong little gladiator will be worth the extra turns. Now, can you reach that bluebird again for us? No, looks like he's just 1 tile away. Maybe you, Jangle? You could go ahead and clear out the snow for us? Oh no, it's turning around again. I guess we're going to have to bring Prancer down this way, so she can try to clear out the snow too. Though I do see that there is a little hidden rock poking out from the snowdrift here, so we are not going to be tricked. We're actually going to have to wait for Pala to clear that out for us, because now it's even affecting Kestrel's ability to hunt. I guess we'll just go ahead and leave her here with her turns. Maybe we'll get lucky and the bluebird will swoop overhead again. Maybe we should have Phoenix come on over here too, to melt all the snow around this nest. Maybe right here would be a good spot. And let's sniff around too, just to make sure. Ooh, there is a root out here in the darkness. Actually, I'm surprised that Nukiro didn't even notice it. He was doing an awful lot of nosing around in these parts too. So Sunrise, you better start clearing out the way. We'll bring Van Ronu up right behind you, though we will want him to have his mate settle down with her nest. I guess maybe we should have him bring up the rear then. Hopefully he'll be able to melt just a tiny bit more snow before he ends up passing. Oh, and you found some clovers? That is the perfect spot for you to settle down. We know that these nests look pretty comfy when they're surrounded by clovers like that. So Van Ronu, go ahead and scoot up here, clear out 1 extra bit of snow, and then we'll have Kirta try to charge his way to the root. Oh my gosh, there's 2 roots up there. You could actually dig up this one right now? Excellent! I guess Silver really did send Sunrise a sign. It's good to know that you always have the ancestors on your side. It seems like they're very dedicated to making sure that our tribe is going to survive this. I guess we should probably leave Sunrise right here. He knows that Kola is just about to have her baby, and he sees that she is feeling rather weak. So maybe by having an oracle by her side, he's hoping that he'll be able to guide her safely through this, though it is clearly a lost cause. If only they had some healers in their midst. We've really got to get his family back to him. Kirta's probably just worried sick about Evergreen. Oh my gosh, and you have another route down here too? Oh, I didn't even see that one. They are so sneaky sometimes. Well, Evergreen, you better make sure that your daughter can make it over to that route on the next turn. We should really bring them closer together though. I wish that we had somebody else to huddle right next to them. But the only creature with any energy is Kestrel. I don't know, maybe since the bluebird is so far away, she would be willing to come on back here to make sure that her baby's okay, make sure the healers are getting along fine. I'm sure the bluebird will still be there on the next turn, and maybe if she goes back for Marina, she could actually bring her over to the bluebird for backup. If the two of them are working together, there is no way that they'll be able to fail. Let's scooch you on up here too, Jangle. Oh, was there a route back there too? No, I don't see anything here, but there was something that he could do. Maybe it was just clearing out the snow. We'll have to check on the next turn. And as for you, Kestrel, we might as well just have you stay right there. So let's go ahead and skip the day, but this time we're going to zoom in on Kola's baby and see if it manages to inherit both the wings and the heat body. Oh, the melanism trait? Well, I see that all of the snow has melted, so she certainly does have the heat body, but it is a bit unfortunate that she only inherited one of those wings. So I wonder if she inherited her mother's lost wing, or if she picked up that velvet paw from Van Ronu instead. Well, either way, she's still going to be pretty helpful. She may not be able to fly, but she will be able to continue breeding that wing into our tribe. And she looks gorgeous too. The heat body against that dark fur looks like little sparks on coals. So let's name her Raven, to go along with the darkness of her feathers, of course. Which is kind of surprising since her mother was so bright. Honestly, I expected that she was going to look like a little cardinal too. I would have named her that if she hadn't been consumed by this darkness, which is kind of on the opposite spectrum from our oracles. I wonder what Sunrise must think of that. But now that he only has 2 days remaining on his lifespan, he's going to have to rush to go find one of the healers. We can't possibly let him pass away before he has at least one baby. So I wonder if as Kirta digs out that extra route, maybe he'll finally be able to light the way for his family? You are not our wanderer. Oh my gosh, and there are so many routes here now too. We are going to have to be so careful that nobody steals them on us. Oh, this is going to be really tricky. But I'm curious about that other wanderer. I wonder if she's related to Nukiro. Maybe we'll even find out that she's his mother or something. But let's see if we can dig out Kirta. Maybe we could have Phoenix flutter on over here. Oh, there you are. You are definitely trying to steal our route, aren't you? Oh, and she's so sick too. No wonder she ended up spawning right next to all of our healers. She doesn't have the melanism trait, but she is carrying it in her genes. So I guess there's always the potential that she does know our wanderer after all. But I'm not sure that we would want to accept her into our tribe. And again, without that digging palm, at least we know that she can't scoop up our roots in one swipe. So since your baby is safe, Phoenix, let's have you try your best to clear the way for Kirta. One more tiny little bit of snow. You know what, Prancer? Let's have you come up here instead, so you can finally light the way for him. We'll have him slip up here and dig up this route for us, as both of our wanderers guard the other routes. This is not a very good sign. You better hope that Pala doesn't notice you stealing. Now the other main concern has to be Sunrise. So let's see if by clearing out a little bit of this extra snow, maybe we can guide the healers over to his side. We could bring Pala up here to dig out the snowdrift too. No, you stole our route. He managed to dig it up after all? Oh no. Sunrise, now you have a secret to keep. If you don't want your sister attacking poor Nukiro, you're going to have to make sure that she never finds out about this. Well, I guess the closest we can bring Sunrise is right here. Maybe to watch over the remains of his fallen tribe mates. I guess that could have been Nukiro's idea. Maybe he was just trying to find a place to truly set them to rest, since we have so very few places to work with. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he wanted to find a good place for Van Ronu to rest too. Our bluebird is still miles away right now, so there's not very much for you to do, Kestrel. But let's see if we can bring Evergreen or even Maple to Sunrise's side. Maple is a little bit slower, so let's actually bring her down here. Go ahead and scoop up this root for us before we have any more accidents. Then we'll change her last gem over to pink, officially a full-grown member of this tribe, as her mother barrels into her mate's side. You can't keep the two earth spirits apart for very long after all, and this gives her a great opportunity to finally ease Sunrise's wounds. He actually took that damage from starving way back when our tribe barely had any food to work with, so that weakness has gnawed away at him, and he's lucky that somebody took notice. Look at this curious little guy. He probably sees that dark fur that looks so much like his, and he is very, very intrigued. Maybe since he's so cold, he's even hoping to leech a little bit of that warmth from Raven. Well, I'm not sure how much it's going to work for you, but it's good to see that our new baby has found a friend in the wild. Now that was all of our roots taken care of, right? We don't have any more to work with out here? No more hidden little morsels in the snow? I don't see anything, so that means it's going to be time for Kirta to move on again, though he's not going to stray too far away from his love site this time. Let's just have him shovel out the snow, I guess, so it'll be easier for him to get around. We'll bring Phoenix over here to melt the rest of the snow too, and then we'll finally take a look at his baby, now that we don't have any food to worry about. So unfortunately our plans didn't go quite right. She does have one of the wings, but she also has one of the Berryena claws. And she has the heat body. So a 4 in strength? I mean, if any of her siblings are stronger, at least we know that she's going to be able to light the way to the danger. So maybe she'll be more helpful for the gladiators than we think. Why don't we even name her Ranger? Since her task will be more about wandering and discovery, it seems like a pretty fitting name. And now I think just about all we have left to do is track down this bluebird again. Oh, this bluebird that is probably so close to the end of its lifespan. I don't know how on earth we're going to get back to it now. Maybe it was a mistake to bring you back this way. Well, let's have Marina scoot up to the hot springs. She can settle down right next to Jangle, I suppose. Maybe she could even sniff around for him too, since it's very hard for him to find roots on his own. Then we'll bring Kestrel way over here as well, fluttering as far as she can possibly go. It is starting to turn around again, so maybe we'll get lucky. I just hope it doesn't despawn on this next turn. That would be such a bummer. It is such a feast too, so I hate to let all of that food go. But there's not much that we can do if the bluebird is flying way out in the darkness. I wish we could find some way for Maple to get closer to her family. I know she really wants to see her father again, but she's just a little bit too slow to worm her way around all of the snow. I suppose we could have her dig out this right here. Then at least on the next turn she can shuffle her way to the hot spring. But right now she only has the company of our wanderer to keep her warm. Well, don't forget, Maple, you are just as sturdy as the trees up here in the mountains. You might feel a little bit cold tonight, but you will endure, and you'll spring back into action in no time. So one last time, let's go ahead and skip the day, and cross our fingers that the bluebird doesn't go away. You're still there? Oh, thank goodness. Now one last chance for you to actually turn around so we can take care of you on this turn. I mean, it certainly doesn't look like any roots have spawned out here, so that might be our only shot. There's a sneaky little root, thank goodness. Alright, Kirta, let's bring you up here so you can have a nice feast with your mate. And I wonder if maybe we should consider having another baby between them too. Again, I want to watch that population, but we really need to make sure that he has an heir who can take on his role. They only have 7 days remaining, so we won't have many more shots. Now, here's a thought. And I'm not gonna lie, it might be something of a morbid thought, and it's something that our tribe has certainly never tried before. But if we want to get the bluebird's attention, what if we leave one of our babies unattended for a little while. Obviously, we wouldn't let the baby get swept away, but maybe that would be enough to attract the bluebird back in our direction. And then once it gets close enough for Kestrel to attack, we'll cut it off before it can take our baby away. I know it is really, really risky, but I'm super worried that this bluebird is going to despawn. So maybe that's something that we'll try out in the next episode. We'll see if little Raven is up for the challenge. The bluebird will definitely be able to see you between all of these snowdrifts, so you might just be our best chance. I don't know if maybe this is something that Sunrise would scheme himself, or if he would be like seriously upset that the tribe would use her this way. He kind of seems like her stand-in father to me, but would he really be willing to risk her life to keep the tribe alive? I guess we'll find out in the next episode. So for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!